All right, everybody, welcome to Virtual Bourbon. My name is Steve Akley on a company called the ABV Network, and we do these sort of events from time to time, and we've got a fun one tonight. We're going to be talking about a Maker's Mark private select pick done by Old Hickory Whiskey Bar. So, hey, Katie, how you doing?
I'm wonderful. How are you guys doing tonight?
Great, great. We got a special guest with you there too today, huh?
Yeah,
Your employee slash husband, Tony.
exactly. Yeah. So I brought Tony on tonight to hang out with you guys because he was there when we did this barrel selection. I thought it might be fun for him to hang out and chat about it with us.
Absolutely, absolutely. So before we get started, and there's always some new people here, so if you don't mind, and we are recording this, so there's a couple more people that signed up that aren't on here, so I'll get this video to them as well so they can see it. So if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about yourself and Old Hickory Whiskey Bar.
Yep. So my name is, again, Katie Garrett. I'm the owner and founder of Old Hickory Whiskey Bar. We are located in downtown Pensacola, Florida. That is in the Panhandle section, as close as you can get to the state of Alabama, is the easiest way to say it. And we are coming up on our 7th year of being open. And we have around 700 different whiskeys at this time. So we're one of the biggest selections of whiskey in the Southeast, and definitely, I would venture to say, somewhere in the top range in the country as well. So we carry mostly bourbons, but we have everything. We're not just a bourbon bar. We have every type of whiskey, and we do craft cocktails as well. So, that's the spiel on Old Hickory.
Yep. And then you, of course, have a second bar, the Kennedy, a little bit more focused on cocktails with that one, but it's just right down the street from Old Hickory, right?
Yeah, it's about 2 blocks up the street north of Old Hickory, and we focus on cocktails there. We do have our own cocktail menu, but the whole motive around that bar is classic cocktails and the resurgence of the cocktail era that came about in the 60s. And so we did a lot of research on how to make those, how they came, and then we also do a lot of work on how to make them modern and unique to our location. And we actually have food at that spot too. So that was a different fun venture for us to go into a restaurant type environment. It's a very small kitchen, so it's still a bar, but it has really, really delicious bar foods that you can snack on while there.
Yes, I got to get there and try some of the bar food for sure.
Love it. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, that is very cool. And the last time we got together, we did one of these. We were just getting ready to open up. And where are you at now with all of that kind of stuff?
We're open. We got to open on Friday, so I know we're so happy. It was 80 days that we were closed down from the COVID shutdown, and we were getting to the point, I'll be honest, we were just like, we're opening anyways. I don't care what the government says, because I don't know if you guys follow along with theme park news, but we do, obviously, because we're close, but Universal Studios got to open last week. So to me, I said, if Universal Studios can open, my little 1,000-square-foot bar can definitely open. So props to our governor for actually letting us do so without having to break the law.
Yeah.
It was getting a little close for comfort for us. So.
And what's it like? Is everyone have to get back in the groove, or did they instantly just fall right back into it, or how's it going so far?
It's pretty entertaining, to be honest. Bartenders were very, they haven't gotten to work in a long time, and it's a lot of muscle memory, bartending is, so they're having to find their groove to get back to it, but it's all they've been wanting is to get back. They just wanted to be there, and the crowd over the weekend was feeling the exact same way. So I would venture to say more so than usual, people were in better spirits and happier, and, not as, some people can be. They were just excited to be at a bar and drinking.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But of course, we're not operating completely. We're at 50% capacity, which to us is fine right now. It definitely helped our bartenders so they weren't overwhelmed, because Steve's been in Old Hickory when it's been very calm and a chill bar. Weekend nights, it is not. It is very wild. It's 3 or 4 people deep trying to order drinks. So we were glad that we were at 50%. Let's just say that.
So, and how do you control that, Katie? Do you have to just literally like have someone posted at the door counting as people come in, or how does that work even?
We have a doorman. We've always had one that
Okay.
checks IDs when people are coming in, just as a safety component for our bartenders. That way, it's like a double layer protection for anyone underage. But also, we've only had, I would say, over the 7 years, less than 10 instances where we physically had to throw someone out of the bar. So we're really
I
lucky.
was
We're
two
not.
of those. Damn it.
You're only welcome back because you're my friend. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. I get a pass.
But we're really lucky. Our bar doesn't have to have a lot of security per se, but it's just a double layer protection to protect our bar staff from having anyone underage. And it's definitely helpful now to make sure we're not overwhelming our patrons nor our staff.
Mm-hmm. All right. Last thing before we get to the Maker's Mark pick here. It sounds like things are getting back to normal with the bars. There's a plan in place to get back to where you were, which is great. What about from the other side of it? What we are talking about tonight, barrel picks. Are you starting to look at when can we do some barrel picks again and that type of thing?
We haven't heard anything from anyone distillery wise on if we're good to go. We were slated to go to Wild Turkey, but their entire calendar got wiped clean. I haven't heard yet from our representative if and when that's going back for this year, but we hopefully will hear from him soon. But the Willet Barrel should happen later this year.
Okay.
We just don't have a date yet, so that one is easier for us to get into the calendar. So that one still should be good to go for 2020. It's just going to happen a lot later than we had planned.
You didn't have any in the works. I did an event with a bar here locally, actually on the other side of the river from St. Louis in Illinois. And they had a barrel pick that was supposed to happen. They had done it before the pandemic was going on and made their pick and all that. And the distillery, which I won't say which one it was, canceled it then though once all this stuff started. I would be furious because you go through the process, you pick the one they went down there live, and they were like how great is, they were excited. That I wouldn't be happy about that.
That would be very depressing. You're right, especially if you went there to pick it. That's an entirely different bonding moment with your barrel, I would say,
right,
versus just a sample being sent. So I can't imagine. Oof. Yeah.
You didn't have any in the works like that, did you, where you had already?
No.
Okay.
No, we had just received our Weller barrel was the last one that we had done our pick, and we received it a couple weeks after we went into the shutdown. So yeah, that was our last one.
Okay.
We don't have anything in the works yet, unfortunately.
Yeah. So Jeff is saying that he's got a Four Roses pick that I guess was delayed and it's back on, but only 4 people can attend. So.
Wow. Yeah, I have a feeling that is how they're probably going to play it. They're probably going to minimize who gets to come with you, but
yeah, social distance at the picks even and stuff like that. I mean, got to do it everywhere else. So
hopefully it won't last too much longer.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see.
They will be coming. We still have something from Wild Turkey and something from Willet. They're just postponed at the moment. So I'm really pumped to have you guys tonight talk about the makers, because out of all the barrels that we have done, other than I would probably say, well, no, I wouldn't. This has been the coolest experience. So
okay,
talk about this one. It's going to be fun. Steve, I actually went through and found some photos, and I was going to do a screen share, but I noticed that you had it blocked. Is there a way that you can?
Oh yeah. No, I can. I put you as a moderator too. So just let me pull that up, and I should be able to.
Oh, that's awesome! I see that you guys, your local liquor store is giving a Weller pick. Very cool. I'm jealous. I have never seen another Weller foolproof other than our own. So if I ever get the opportunity to buy a store pick, I'm definitely going to jump on that. Yeah, it's super cool.
I made you a co-host. I assume that works, Katie?
Okay, let's try. So just to preface with it, we went down to Maker's Mark in October of 2017. And the pictures that I'm going to share with you guys, I don't know who's been to Maker's Mark. Sweet. So pretty much everybody. So you have seen the grounds, and we'll just scan right through those. Who's done a private selection with Maker's Mark? Sweet. Okay. So we've got one that's done one. So for everybody else, I wanted to give you guys kind of a behind the scenes look of what it's actually like to be there to do it. I'm not a photographer, so they're not the best photos per se. So just enjoy what we got. But I was just going to run through those. But while we're doing that, I
Yes.
hope you guys have something. I know Steve's got his bottle. I hope you guys are drinking. I think we should just have a good time and drink long. So before we get started, I want to just do a toast. So pour your glass if you don't have it ready. You know, I don't like doing tastings without drinking.
Yes,
I'm a
makes
believer
sense.
that should be one of the first things that we get to do. See, Justine's working on hers. Tim's got his. Rick, you got yours. And I can't see the Kaplans, so
The
I don't know.
Kaplans are just on their phone.
Kaplans they don't want us to see them tonight, but that's okay. We get it. I've been there. So hopefully they got theirs. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Thanks for joining. Perfect. All right. Never have I ever done this screen share. So let's see how this goes. All right. So can you guys see this?
Right. It says it has started. Yes, there we are. All right.
Perfect. Very cool. All right. So now I'm thinking, how in the world do I get to the next picture? It should be entertaining, you guys, for me to figure this out. I'm gonna put you down there. There we go. All right. So this first picture, again, when we went was October of 2017. So this is when they had the art installation was still there. Who was that artist? Do you guys remember, Steve? Do you remember by chance?
Chihuly? Chihuly.
Yeah.
Dale Chihuly, yeah.
Yes. So it was very exciting to see these installations. They were actually about to take them down within the next couple of weeks. So we got there at the very tail end. So that's just a pretty spot where we were there. You guys have been to Maker's Mark, so obviously, but that bright red ball is a Chihuly installation. It looks like a tree, but it's the bright red and yellow. So
cool.
So on our team, obviously my hair looks very different back then. If you know me, you know I changed my hair color quite often.
Yes,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, that's me when I was redhead with bangs. So the girl in the middle with the denim jacket, that's Holly Whitmore. At the time, she was a bartender, and we took her on the trip with us. And then the woman on the right is Emily King, and she is our Beam Suntory rep here in the Panhandle. So there's a pretty big group of us with Beam Suntory that were up there. So that was the gang. And this is just a better picture of that art installation. You can see there, it was breathtaking in person. So
yeah.
Very
Yeah, that tree looks, I mean, it looks kind of like a tree. I mean, it looks pretty
right?
close.
Yeah.
It's
if
cool.
you didn't pay attention, you might just not even notice it. It was very beautiful.
It's just all glass. Yeah, it's cool.
Mm-hmm. So I thought this was just a fun picture. We did a Corsa tour beforehand, and they let Holly drink straight out the still. So, you know, he doesn't like a giant cup of distillate. So, yeah. So this is when we first got into the room. And if you know anything about this process, it is done in the limestone cave that they blasted out. So you're actually in the cave, and they have this special room. If you're on the regular Maker's tour, you can see the windows within and view this room. But if you pick a barrel, you get to go inside of it. So from left to right, these are samples of the 6 different wooden staves that go into making Maker's Mark Private Select. And I'm assuming that if you guys are a part of this, you understand what Private Select is. You know it is Maker's Mark that has been extra aged with different wood staves to give it a different flavor profile. So left to right are the different ones, and they have them with these little names. You can go into details with those, but you can kind of just see this is an overall view from the top. And oddly, I was super excited to get the little name plaque you see at the very bottom. It's a name tag that you get to wear. It's wooden, and I loved it. So I'm a sucker for good swag. So that was my exciting moment. But so from, again, left to right, my eyes are terrible, but hopefully maybe you guys can see. I believe it is the I see it's the P2 stave, and then can you read those better than me, Steve? Cash strength, P2
strength,
stave.
P2, the seared French cuvee, then the Maker's 46, and then the roasted
mocha,
yeah, and then the toasted French spice.
There you go. Okay, thanks. My eyes are not as young as they used to be. So they give you a sample of what each one tastes like that has only been done with all 10 wooden staves have been done exactly the same. That way you can see what that flavor profile tastes like. So once you move on, this is us tasting each individual stave. And that's just the room because it's absolutely stunning in there. They had Chaluli do all the artwork in there too.
Hey, can you go back a couple there, Katie?
Yeah. Which one? This one? One more?
One more back.
Yep.
The tattoos, a bonded tattoo, right? That's your team. It's the bonded tattoos. So.
Yep, that's the bonded tattoo.
She's official. She's official.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Holly's definitely official.
All right. I just wanted to point that out because your team all gets the same tattoo.
Yeah, that's super. Yeah, I didn't even notice. Thank you, Steve. We are all obsessed with one another. I'll show you all mine once I stop screen sharing. This is just up close that I did just to see what the glass looks like with the Pure 2 stave, the P2. And this is just to see the notes of the char. So we're getting samples straight out of the barrel, which obviously you can see with the char in that. And just a sample of the coloring, that's the Cuvée stave, which everything, honestly, each one individually was delicious, which you can imagine. Another char photo. I'm really big into char.
That's a cool photo.
In the bottom of my glasses. So I was just trying to capture that there. So here you can see, this is Holly working with the graduated cylinders. And then you can see to the left, there are decanters and they have etched on them the different stave variations. And then as a group, you create a formula. So you see her filling up these graduated cylinders to different percentages of different stave variants. So it gets very sciencey at that point. This was nothing that I expected it to be. You go in and you literally create your own blend with the different stave variations. So it's not as easy as you would think. So still working on it. We were there for how many hours, Tony?
I think in total between start to finish, we ended up spending 7.5 hours there.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was not a bad day. So this right here shows our different variations. We did 6 different formulas in order to get to our final one. So each stave, they have 10 coins cut out, and then they give you like poker chips essentially, and it represents how many parts per stave you're using. So if you have 5 of the Maker's 46, you get 5 of those coins. So that's 50% of your pour. And then if you do 3 of a cuvee, you get 3 of those coins. So that's 30% of your pour. And then you finish off with maybe 2% of the P2 and you'd get 2 of those poker chips. So this is how they help you along the way to make sure that your recipe is staying consistent and you're able to make small tweaks to it without forgetting what you did prior. So ours actually on the far right side was our first one. And then when you go all the way to the top left, that was the one that we chose in the end. Is that correct, Tony? Let me double check that.
The far right is the one we chose.
Is it? Let's see. 631. Trying to find the one. Actually, it's this one, right? 6, 3, and 1.
Yep.
So on the bottom options, the far left, you can see 6 of the red tokens. That represents the 6 we did of the toasted French spice. Then 3 of the darker brown tokens, that is the French mocha. And then you see 1 of the tokens for Maker's 46. So that's the recipe we ended up going with there. And this is a really cool thing that they have in that room. This is a library wall of everyone who's done a private select with them. So it is, they keep it in there for future reference. So if you go back to do your second one, you can sift the one that you have there to see if you want to make variations, what you liked about it, what you want to adjust. So it's a really cool archival collection. So we do have a bottle there. Someone sent me a picture last time. There was one of my Beam reps. They sent me a picture of ours sitting there. So that's pretty cool. So into this process is where we are. We've already picked our different recipe. We picked our recipe. We've done the formulation. So this ring here, they are the wooden staves that we picked. So you'll see we have 6 in there. We have 6 of the French spice, and we have 3 of the roasted French mocha and 1 of the Maker's 46. And it's really awesome. They take you into that room. You get to ring it yourself. That's a plastic ring that's holding, or is it metal? It's a metal ring holding it all together, and they stand it up just like that. And then there's a cool picture. You can kind of see how it's inside of there. This is an empty regular maker's barrel. So they dump regular's maker's mark, and then you get to fill that barrel with your additional wooden staves inside. So what you see next, this is our barrel head, and we all got to sign it, which is really cool with our ticket on there. This is Holly filling our barrel, because once they put the barrel head back on it for you, they let you fill it yourself, which is pretty dang cool. So there's a cool little, I'll talk about that bottle on the very top once we get back off the screen share. But just another shot of our barrel head. Now, this is a really cool photo. Steve knows about this one.
Mm-hmm.
During our selection, we were in the room and we got interrupted. Rob Samuels actually came in and was doing a tour with another artist, talking to another artist about joining in because the Cholula exhibit was ending. And of course, we had no idea he was there. That was a really big surprise. If you guys know Rob Samuels, is he the COO now of Makers?
I do believe so.
It's the Samuels family, so they all, his father was Bob Samuels, and then your mother's Margie Samuels, and all of that. So he's highly influential in the Maker's Mark group, clearly. So he visited us again, or stopped in when we had filled our barrel, and they were getting ready to take it away, and he was joking with us, and he's like, "Oh, I missed the signing of the barrel head." We said, "Yeah, sorry you missed it." And he's like, "Well, I'll fix that." And he literally got on the floor because they can't tip it back over once it's been filled. So he got on the floor and signed our barrel. And that was a really cool surprise that we did not expect to happen. So
Yeah.
Who all can say that, Rob Samuels got on the floor to sign their barrel? Yeah. So we're going to take it off of the stop. And now we're back.
Oh.
So hope you guys liked seeing some of the pictures that we did. I thought that it would make it a little more interesting. Sorry, I'm catching up on the chats here. If there's something I need to see. And, I'm squinting because I'm old.
I think you're okay.
Oh, Kaplan's, you're good. We're just excited y'all are here.
And there's one final personalization part to this, because not only do you get the thing, but you do sign the back. So this is a Katie signed one, KEG. So that's your initials there.
Oh, yep. The one I have here at home also has my initial. So whenever we ship your bottles to you, on the back, like Steve showed, it has written down the different staves that we picked and how many of them are there. So you'll always remember what our recipe is. And then we signed it. So you'll either get myself, or you'll get Tony, or you will get Holly, which was the one that you saw in the pictures. So yeah, it's a really cool personal thing that they do. Like I said, this is probably why, to me, the most creative process of picking barrel. You don't just go in, take it straight out of the barrel and pick which one you like the most. You have a say in what you want it to taste like. So if you want to hand me, Tony, actually, we got to keep, they give you your rings too, or your wood staves too. So we have ours, which is pretty cool. So we have all the different wooden staves, and I just thought that was a nice little touch that they let you take this home with you. So
yeah, that is cool.
So we keep that here at the house. It's our special little momentum.
So we got to have Tony weigh in on this. Tony, what did you think of that whole process?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Just putting it back.
I did not hear you.
Oh, I was just asking what you thought of the process and things like that versus, other barrel picks. It's such a unique thing. And what were your thoughts on all of that kind of stuff?
I'm very much a math person. So when you're actually sitting down talking about 10 parts out of an entire system, getting to sit there and see how much one part can influence the base of what you're starting with was really intriguing to me. And the variations that you could actually come up with, even changing 10% of that formula can give you an entirely different aspect of the entire bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
So that was awesome to me.
Yeah, and they say, I think it's 1,001 combinations that you can come up with all of the different wood staves and then the percentages that you use of each stave. So it's a very complex moment. So for him, he really enjoyed that.
Yeah. So if you were going back again, would you do the exact same one, or would you enjoy the process and coming up with something different if you went back again?
I'll let you answer first.
I think I would enjoy trying to do something different.
Yeah.
We looked at this barrel a little bit different because we're not a liquor store or anything. We're a bar.
Mhm.
So we had two different variations, and I think we ultimately decided on one because it made the better old fashioned.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. So when you're there in that room, they actually have a small little bar area set up that you can make a simple cocktails. And we had our bartender Holly make us old fashions, and it was very comical because the only way that they had us to incorporate the sugar was Domino sugar packets. So it's kind of funny. Here she's used to using Jumeirah sugar cubes or a simple syrup or something. So it was kind of comical because here they are. They're like, "How is this all we have?" And they're running around. They had bitters, they had cherries, they had ice, they had all that, but then they only had Domino sugar packets. So it was just a funny moment. And so yeah, we made old fashions while we were in there to see how it would come across in our bar.
That's really cool.
This cocktail, because obviously we're known for our just whiskey pours, but people do come in a lot because they can get high-end old fashions or Manhattans with special stuff that you really wouldn't do at home. So Tony's absolutely correct. That was a way that we kind of looked at that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not something that I did when I went there. I went with Total Wine, and they were buying it for the neat drinkers. They have a big following, and they do a lot of barrel picks. So there was no making of cocktails or anything like that. But I think that's a pretty fun component of that. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's something we always, in any barrel pick, try to make sure we're towing the line a little bit on both.
Mm-hmm.
We still want a really good pour that's neat, but at the same time, is it going to stand up in a cocktail? So we're never really, none of our barrel picks are going to come across as soft or simple or easy. They're always going to be on the more aggressive side, mostly because we want it to stand up either at home or in our bar as a cocktail. So this one we're super proud of too, because whenever, was it Rob that came down to 30A, right? Yeah, so Rob Samuels came down to 30A area on the Panhandle. I'm sure you guys know about 30A. It's where most people from up north come for the beaches. It's like an hour and a half away from us. But anyway, they were doing they have wine fest, and these guys will come down and do like whiskey paired with them. And Rob Samuels was doing a class on Maker's Mark Private Select, and he requested that he use our selection to give to the people present at the group as an example of how to do it, which we were very proud of. We have a few different accounts in our area that have done this, and he picked our account to be the example. So
that's pretty cool. Yeah. Rob Samuels is just kind of a cool guy. I mean, cool. Yeah. Like at the New Orleans Bourbon Festival, he brought down seared BU. Before it was not even a thing. He brought it down in a 1.75 just regular Maker's Mark bottle. He's like, "We're working on something. I want you guys to try this."
He is so cool.
It's so cool. Yeah. So he poured all that for everyone that was in that class. There was a lot of people in there. There was like 100 people in that class. And he poured it himself to anybody who wanted some. And McNew made it up to the line first, by the way. So
of course she did.
Team, she pushed her way and got in line first.
I remember a few years ago, actually it was our first bourbon affair ever that we went to the Samuels house for that crawfish bowl.
Oh man, that's cool.
On the river.
It was first or second.
It wasn't Rob's house because it was Bill's. Yeah. So we went to Rob's house, the last one we went to. So the first one that we got to do, they did a crawfish boil in the driveway. It was a long table, but we're from Pensacola, we're from the Gulf Coast. They said crawfish bowl, we were ready,
right,
like, all right, let's do this. It was delicious, don't get me wrong, but it was funny. You could tell you were in Kentucky trying to have a crawfish boil because it was nothing like Gulf Coast crawfish boils, but it was still really good. Not like complaining, we just found it funny. But it was cool because you did that, and then once the dinner was over, they literally welcomed us into their home, which is this gorgeous huge house on the Ohio River, and it looks down in the river, and I shit you not, there were deer out in the yard, and just it was a magical moment where we were thinking, and this was
staged, right? Yeah,
this is pretty close to us opening the bar. We've been open maybe a year, and I was like, this is life right now. This is bizarre. So it was really really cool. And then
Isn't Bill's house kind of like a museum? Like he has all these amazing collection of historic pieces, like the desk that they wrote My Old Kentucky Home on, what Stephen Foster, whatever the composer's name is.
yeah, you kind of walk in there like, don't touch anything. And if you guys follow me on Instagram or the bar, you might know Darren that works for us, Steve. You've met Darren, yeah?
Yeah.
So he's a character. He's an actor by education, and so he's really crazy and funny. But he actually this week, because all the memories are popping up from Bourbon Affair, and he sent me the picture where he accidentally went to the wrong bathroom. He didn't go to the guest bathroom. He like went into Bill Samuel's bathroom.
No.
And like took a selfie in there, and I was like, Darren,
he
he's like, I'm
accidentally.
lost. He's like, I don't know where I am.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, he was like, someone was in the guest bathroom, and then someone else was like, here, you can go back there somewhere. And he's like, I don't know where I am anymore, but I found a bathroom, and I think I'm in Bill Samuel's bathroom right now.
Wow.
So imagine me like out in the party mingling and trying to have fun, and I get that text, that selfie. Get your ass out here, you know. But that was a pretty funny one. And then is everyone still drinking? Just checking in with you guys.
Yeah. Look at this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah.
He's sending you another one. Don't worry.
Yeah, I got to work on that. Yeah.
But the second time we got to go to Samuel's house was, I think it was 2 years ago, the last time we did Bourbon Fair. So we didn't get to do it the year before because I was pregnant. That one was so cool too. We went to Rob's house and they did a dinner just there. Well, how many people was there? 25? Super small. Intimate.
30.
Yeah. And they had the president of Keeneland there, and which is the racetrack in Kentucky. And so we got to hear all sorts of really cool stories about how Maker's Mark and Keeneland have had this cool partnership pretty much the entire time they've been open, and how every year they do a charity thing. And I'll grab the bottle because it's really cool. Yeah, you can get it. Yeah, it's up high, so I'm gonna make Tony grab it. You guys, are y'all all in Kentucky? Yeah? No?
No.
I don't know where all you guys are at, but you're in that area, perhaps. I don't know. You might like this.
We're all within driving of it, for sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So we, as a gift for the dinner, at the end of the night, they gave us these. Have you guys seen these before?
Oh, yeah.
So they're the Maker's Mark does a charity thing with Keeneland every year, and they do these special releases of just Maker's Mark, and you can see it's Kentucky Wildcats.
Yeah.
And this bottle is signed by the entire basketball team of the year they won the national championship. I think this is the 1998 basketball championship. Yeah. And so it's signed by the team. And these were our like thank you gifts for coming. It was crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
A lot of money. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
it was a good year for me. Yeah.
I have no idea like the collector's value on that. I know it's very limited and very special. I'm not a Kentucky person. UF is my team, which is a good basketball team. So East Florida State, we won't talk about that. But so it's kind of weird. We have these really like that. So we have these these really cool bottles that, while we can appreciate, I am sure there are Kentucky fans out there who will lose their minds to get their hands on one of those.
We've actually had some conversations about using them to auction off for a charity or something like that.
Yeah, so that might be something cool. We'd have to figure out how we could do it, but we've debated doing that because I know there is a market out there for those bottles, and we're not trying to make the money ourselves, but it'd be a really cool way to raise some money for charity. So if you guys know of anybody, perhaps maybe I can work together on that. But that was a cool thing. That they're just good people. Maker's Mark is really cool as a company. I'm sure most of you guys are familiar with Margie Samuels. Was one of the first women to actually make whiskey special, make bourbon special. She's in charge of naming it, the bottle, the labels, all of that stuff, which is really cool story.
Starting tourism, really in Kentucky. I mean, really, she's the one who brought tourism to distilleries. So they weren't tours before she decided they were going to do it at Maker's Mark, Kentucky Distillery. So
that's why one of the many, many reasons why Maker's Mark is one of my favorite, just for their super into women's movement and all of that, women's rights. But another I see, I'm already forgetting things. So another cool thing, you remember when I was showing you guys the pictures and it was our barrel and I said, I'll tell you about that small bottle. So this is that small bottle that was on the top of it. This is actually, and we've never opened it, so we're going to open it tonight. It is the so it's cool that they do when you fill your barrel, they give you a small sample of the distillate that is in your barrel when they cap it. So you can taste what it's like before it gets aged with all the wood staves. So you can have a comparison. And we've never done it. I don't know why. It's been sitting behind us on this whole shelf for, I mean, it's moved to two houses. It's gone through 2 moves. And for some reason, we just haven't done it. So yeah, sample date was October 24th of 2017. And the proof was 110.3. It is cask strength. So.
Okay.
So
this will be interesting to hear your notes before.
I know. So the one that we got, our private select is 110.1. So it very minimal proof loss at 110.3.
Yeah.
But we shall see. So this will be a fun little.
Yeah.
I'm like, if it tastes the same, I'm just kidding.
Just be furious. Yes.
Color wise, it's very different.
Yeah.
So looking at the color, I know it's hard for you guys to probably see the difference. I don't know if you can.
You can tell.
The one I'm holding in this hand is our private select, and this is the distillate. This one has a lot richer of a red tone, in my opinion. I'm going to guess that comes from all of the French spice. We did that the most. So cheers. So by what it is, I'm assuming for the most part, we're drinking pretty much cask strength Maker's Mark. If you guys have had that labeling, that's basically what we're having. It just happens to be the barrel that they dumped for us.
Yep.
And they put back in. So it's almost, well, I guess it would be at that point a Maker's Mark cask strength steam barrel. It's a lot on the labels, but it's very good.
Yeah.
A lot. Even though the proof is higher to me, the nose on that is more stringent than our private select.
Yeah.
Our private select nose definitely goes down a little bit.
Pick up a lot of wheat on the actual Maker's Mark cask strength, whereas finishing with the staves, that wheat kind of dissipates a little bit. You get other flavors.
Yeah, so something that was very important for us when we picked this one is we wanted it to have a lot of bite. Like I mentioned for cocktails, we love barrels that are aggressive, something that, you know, we all drink whiskey all the time, something that makes you go, well, that's different. That's not a run-of-the-mill thing. I didn't want it to taste like Maker's Mark for you guys, because then you would just buy Maker's Mark. There's a lot of people out there who will just do a private select of Maker's 46 staves and be able to slap their name on it and move along, which whatever, to each their own. But we wanted to create something that was on a completely different scale, that you went, this is never something that I would imagine Maker's Mark releasing. And that's because we get to do it ourselves, you know? So
yeah.
Why not do something aggressive and intense? Because we all know the reason why Maker's Mark was created was to be an everyday drinker. That was the whole reasoning behind the recipe they came up with. So
yep,
we didn't want that.
Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, they have a family history of a whiskey that was not an everyday drink, not a sipper, and yeah, their goal was to create something that you could drink, you know, every day. And they've got a great history that has some of the biggest names in the world of bourbon that helped them create that, including people like Jim Beam and Pappy Van Winkle were involved in kind of helping formulate, because Bill Samuels was Senior was a resident of Bardstown, Kentucky, and he was friends with all these folks, and yeah, kind of drew upon them to help them out. So it's cool stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I know I say it, we wanted to be different from an everyday sipper, but I will tell you this guy drinks a bottle all the time. we're constantly running out of private selects. Whoa, you actually cleaned up your empties. They usually sit in the corner. I was about to grab one because I guarantee you there was an empty of the private selector there. He drinks this bottle all the time.
It's in the kitchen. I'm going to use it to put pepper sauce
in. Oh, it
in.
is? Oh,
Yeah.
there you go. So this is one of those, while I call it not an everyday sipper, he definitely still drinks this thing constantly. So yeah, it does have that aggressive a bite. If you guys like rye or high rise, there obviously is no rye in this because it's Maker's Mark, but just those spice staves kind of give it a similar bite. It doesn't have that rye flavor, but it has the like aggressiveness of a rye. So
that spiciness and the spice staves really comes through.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Katie, I think I saw your bonded tattoo there. So is that on your left arm there? Yep, there you go.
Yeah, Holly and I have the exact same one, but most other people, they have a different
little variation of it.
Yeah, you going to show yours off? Tony's is a little more intense. I'll let him show you his tattoo. Can you get closer to the? Let me get out of the way. I don't know if y'all can see it. There you go.
Oh.
It is a.
Oh, they got the bottle. Yeah.
It's a Taylor bottle that says bonded in bourbon.
Okay.
So yeah, he clearly a fan of the E.H. Taylor. But yeah, that's how he did his bonded tattoo. But yeah, they've all got them in different ways, different variations.
Mm-hmm.
My mom actually got hers.
Your mom has one?
It's her first tattoo she's ever gotten. Yep, she retired and was like, I'm getting a tattoo. She's worked in banking her whole life. She's like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get that bonded tattoo. I was like, all right, Mom, let's do this. So,
all right.
Yeah.
And your dad was in law enforcement. Does he have one or?
No, he does not. They actually can't have visible tattoos. I guess that's a thing that just passed. So, which is weird because a lot of law enforcement have full-on sleeves. I don't know. It's a new thing. Maybe they'll get rid of it. But he did get his first tattoo.
Well,
we all joke.
He's also state. He's not county or local.
He works for the state. But we all got these dash mark tattoos. I don't know if you can see the small dash mark. They stand for the dash, on your tombstone. You have the date you're born, the date that you die. It's the dash in between, and it's supposed to live the life between your years, live the dash between your years. So real, out there and fun. But so a bunch of us got those, and that was my dad's first tattoo. We joke to him all the time. We're like, that's not a real tattoo, Dad. But he likes to joke that it's,
yeah, he's
all he could get, because he could cover it with a watch, so he wasn't worried about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
For tattoos. So, yeah, we all have multiple.
When he retires, will he get a bonded tattoo too?
Oh yeah, probably.
Okay.
I don't doubt it. If he doesn't get one just where it can't be seen, he might do that.
Right.
Which is hilarious. Growing up in my life, it was don't get tattoos, and I started getting tattoos, and now they like them and want them. Parents.
You gotta train them. It takes a while.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my co-host Justine Mays. Do you have any questions? I put official co-host of this, Justine. So yeah.
I love questions too. I love conversation.
Right.
So I think there might be a couple new people on, at least from the last one. I was on the Four Roses one. What has been your favorite pick to do, and what pick are you looking forward to doing?
So my favorite pick of the experience, and then my favorite pick of the bottle. So my favorite experience pick was definitely this one, the private select, because I showed you guys the photos. It's so immersive, and you're in that room for hours. And we actually took a break and went shopping in the gift shop just to give our palates a break. And I'll tell you what, they made money off of us because we've been drinking for hours.
Right. Everything sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And lunch. You have to have lunch.
And lunch.
Who had the hot brown? That's a good hot brown sandwich there. You should have got that.
I don't know if I had that. Honestly, I don't remember.
They had just barely opened the food shop when we got there. It'd been open like 3 weeks.
Okay, maybe they didn't.
It was still really delicious. But yeah, so
Chef Newman Miller. Yeah, he's really good. Yeah.
But the entire experience of that, it honestly is magical. And if you ever get the opportunity, or just even, I would holler at your local liquor store, you guys going to do a selection of this? What do I have to do to be a part of it or something? Because I don't know, never hurts to ask. I've never had anyone ask to be a part of one before, like a regular, but if they did, I would probably talk to them about it and see if it was possible. So maybe all you have to do is ask. But as far as favorite bottle that came out of it liquid wise would be our Weller Full Proof.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, the Weller 107.
Antique 107.
Yeah, I loved both. I might say it was our Antique 107, which is completely gone now. Do we even have a bottle? Yeah, I have a bottle and it's like over halfway empty. So that one was probably my favorite actual product.
We've done a lot of barrel picks and everybody has their own. It was the only time we had, I think it was 8 people in the room.
Mhm.
And in the first 30 seconds, everybody picked the exact same barrel.
Mhm.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. As far as barrel picks I'm excited about, obviously anything wild turkey. Steve knows Jimmy Russell's my favorite human on this entire planet. And
Yes.
I will
Jimmy
live
Russell
and
stalker. Yes.
Yes, no shame. And I will live and breathe wild turkey forever because not just because it's a great product, but that man is one of the best men that's ever walked this earth. But the Willet barrel, we've been talking about that for years. We've been talking about doing it and we just never solidified it. I'm friends with their national brand ambassador and have been for 6 years now as her role has evolved there. 2 of my former bar managers work at the Willet Bar now, which is really cool. I've gone on vacation with Drew Colseen's wife, and I say all that not as a humble brag. I say all that as that's how invested I am in that company as far as the people go. And I think the people are some of the coolest people in the industry. And we've been buying their stuff before people even paid attention to what Willet was, especially down here in the Panhandle. They didn't even know what Johnny Drum was, but I yelled about it constantly. Literally got told to stop selling it by him because we couldn't get it anymore. But that's probably the one I'm looking forward to the most, just because I get to do it amongst, not saying I'm not friends on the scene, when you say, oh, with friends, no, these people are like my actual friends who've stayed at my house. They helped me build a bar. So, it's going to be a deep family moment, and we're really looking forward to doing that with them.
Yeah, that's going to be an exciting pick to get. So, yeah.
Yeah, and from what Jessica tells us, we are going to get basically free reign of the warehouses. So,
wow.
I know.
Yeah.
So
Willet is a tough nut to crack. So you're in the inner circle. Not everyone's in the inner circle with them.
Don't know how I did it. Accidentally, literally just going in there and being in the warehouse, like the gift shop, and becoming besties with the gift shop girl, which was Jessica at the time. That was her job. She ran the gift shop. Yeah. And then we just became super tight. Now she's their brand ambassador and it's crazy. I don't know. We're lucky.
But also me being me, I love numbers. I'm like, so what warehouse do we stay under this price?
Yeah, he's like, I have this much money to spend, and then I'm gonna be like, but what you got back there?
Right.
That's how this.
I think get the best you can get. Be damned the price. We'll help you sell some of these. We'll do some events. Yeah, we can help you push it.
It's gonna be hard to sell that barrel.
If it's special, yeah, we've got the audience to bring it in for that for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
I have another question.
Yeah.
Sure.
In the 80 days that you were closed, since everybody was coming in and just buying bottles and buying stuff online, I was part of the Four Roses event for this, and then I bought a bottle of your Buffalo Trace. How much did you sell out of, and how much did you have to get in order to open last Friday?
That's a question for this man.
Did your stocks run low at all with all the bottle sales and stuff?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. It was, don't get me wrong, it was a great thing because we made money to pay our staff and keep everything rolling. So we never had to worry if we were going to make it or not. But it was depressing to see the backstock that he has built up over the years.
Although I did finally get my I told you so moment for the first time in 15 years.
I used to always say, why are you buying so much? We have so much whiskey in the room. We have been sitting in these bottles for so long. And, because I had cases of Wild Turkey Master Keeps, and I had cases of Elijah Craig, and just like all this crazy stuff that we had so much of, orphan barrels and everything. It did help out during the 80 days. He did.
Sometimes the dude isn't too bad, you know? Yeah, yeah.
No.
Well, I had this plan of like at year 10 doing what I called our vault collection.
Uh-huh.
Just opening a certain menu that was just all the stuff that I've hoarded for 10 years. And it kind of pulled us through this time, which was great.
That is cool. That is very cool. Because I know so much of it, Katie, you know, you do in lead, but it's good to hear Tony. Tony came up with something there, and Tony did a good job.
Oh,
so,
he does a lot.
Yeah.
This bar does not run without Tony Garrett anymore. I did the first year, and I begged him to come and work for me. And over time, he has really taken over most of the day-to-day activities. So as far as like inventory and ordering and pricing, and then you know, our managers definitely have the cocktail part of it. But as far as the whiskey collection goes, this man's the one that basically—
He's the curator. Yeah,
he's the curator of our whiskey museum. That's
not bad.
Maybe I should change his title to whiskey curator, because that's exactly what he is now.
Yeah, that's not a bad title, Tony.
That's a pretty fancy title.
Yeah, it is.
My old title was "We don't know what to do."
He's the man that fixes everything that breaks, too.
Right. Yeah, I would talk to Tony and be like, if someone pulled the handle out of the wall in the bathroom. He literally does it all. So, yeah.
Y'all would be surprised what people do in bar bathrooms. Woo!
Yeah. All right. Does anyone else have questions for Katie or Tony about anything they got going on?
Nothing?
Exciting things they got coming up. Okay.
Come on.
I got one for you guys. First off, thanks for sending that Parker's Heritage. I appreciated seeing something on the shelf of that heavy char. It was a great price and saved me a little bit of money from buying it up here, but I'd rather help a small business than anything else.
We really appreciate it.
So I really appreciate you
That
having
was the last one to
stocks
go.
available.
Glad it went.
Can't find it anymore.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Yeah, and then, so Tony, this is probably more for you since you're the numbers guy. When it comes down to the different staves for Private Select, what did you guys find that was the most powerful out of the different flavors that could come out of some of those staves at all, and the mixtures that you're finding that really change things around? And I'm sure, Katie, you got an opinion on that too.
To me, the one that actually had the most like bite to it was the American Oak Stave. Like, that one just punched. Even at the 10%, it punched.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the reason we didn't choose any.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't want it to overwhelm. Yeah.
Yeah, the Pure Two.
The Pure Two stave. Yeah, so for me, I really love that French spice, which is why it's mostly French spice, I would say, because it gave to me, like I mentioned before, that aggressiveness that you don't find in a Maker's Mark product. So it was a big reason why I like to have all that. And then we moved as the mocha as the next, because it gave it a richer, rounder feel. So for me, the mocha was one of those moments where you just got the complexity. And then the Maker's 46, that's just a nice standard in my mind. It balanced everything out from a super spice to a like chocolatey round note. And then that 46 just kind of made everything melt together. The French Cuvée, I'll be honest, we didn't pick because we were able to see what people were picking in our market, because we were with our Beam Centauri reps, and they have a list, and Makers gives them a list of who's doing what in your market. That way you don't accidentally, like, no one wants to make the same one and try to sell it 5 miles apart from each other, you know?
Right.
So we looked at that and knew that most of the people in our market were heavy on the French Cuvée. So we wanted to go opposite of what they were doing. So that's why you won't see that one in our barrel, just to keep things fresh for our area.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
Cool. Well, this was a great event. I love the pictures and things like that. A little slideshow, a little bit different twist this time. So
I know. I had fun photos to share this time because we got to go up there and do it.
yeah, everyone you've done has been a different experience and a lot of fun. So yeah, hats off to you for making these really, really cool and special. And I would encourage anybody, if you were ever anywhere near Old Hickory Whiskey Bar. To make the trek to Pensacola, which to me, you should be staying in Pensacola. That's where I like to stay. But you should stay in Pensacola. But if you're in the area, please stop by and see Tony and Katie and the team there. It's a great experience. And yeah, it's really, really hard to believe that they are right there downtown Pensacola. And where you think it should only be rum bars and
I know.
yeah, that kind of stuff, daiquiris and that, but you got to.
People thought we were crazy.
Yeah,
Like opening up a whiskey bar in a beach town. I'm like, we're not a beach town. I have to constantly say that. The beach is down, it's 15 minutes away, but Pensacola has a vibrant downtown, and that's what makes us special and different from most of the places on the Gulf Coast. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Katie and Tony, thanks so much for joining us and tell us a little bit about this pick. And just for the audience here who's left here, we will be sending you your bottles. Katie, this one's not a big deal because it's not a big group or anything like that. I should be able to send you the funds. I'll send them tonight, actually. I think I've got everybody's address unless someone signed up late, and then I need to secure that address. But I've got everyone else who had signed up through today, about an hour before this started. So I will get you those addresses and send over the payment, and you can get rolling with getting everybody their bottles.
We'll be packing them up probably tomorrow, which means FedEx will pick them up on Thursday.
Friday.
Wait, what day is today? Is it Wednesday or Tuesday?
It's Tuesday today.
I just know what we have this week. It'll be Friday.
He keeps my schedule going. That being said, though, once they do pick them up, I will do my best to get you guys the tracking numbers immediately. That way you can see, because it does require a signature of an adult because it's over 21, obviously. So,
yep. And I was smart about this. I've got everybody's phone numbers too, Katie, so they can get the text updates and things like that.
Perfect.
So I know the first couple I didn't have that for you, but I've been collecting that. So either I got it from people or I already had it on file. So.
And if you guys have questions about your bottle or anything else, I'm easy to find on our social media pages. I run everything for Old Hickory. So if you message us on Facebook or Instagram, I'm the person that you're talking with. So if you've got questions about it, just feel free to reach out.
Sounds good.
Definitely. Right. You're not going to find me.
Not Tony. He's too busy curating whiskey. So that sounds good. Yeah, I want to get Tony's email address to see what's in the what's in the cabinet.
It's fun. I actually had a gentleman, sweet guy, messaged me on Instagram saying he was coming in from Jacksonville and was super pumped, couldn't wait to come buy some bottles. And we said, look forward to seeing you. We're going to open back up on Thursday because we did some renovations right before the opening. And then he called the bar on Thursday and I answered and said, well, I'm really sorry, we're actually not opening. We're trying to finalize some things for open tomorrow, but it was him. So I said, no, that's okay. We already talked. You come on in. Bless his heart. It was just me, Tony, and one of our other bartenders in the bar. He was like a kid in the candy store because I took him in the back room. I got tired of going back and forth. So like, oh, do we have that? Do we have not that? He walked back there and was like, what? So it was very fun. He was a good time. He was like, I spent far more money than I planned, but it was well worth the visit. He drove from Jacksonville to buy Weller. Yeah.
Wow. That's
cool.
I've been hoarding some of the Elijah Craig barrel proof from the first batch that won the world gold.
Yep.
Been hoarding that one. And Katie accidentally put it online because she used that picture of the squat bottle.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I was like, no, gotta change. Like, those are mine.
Sorry.
Right.
We had to do things in a hurry, okay?
Yeah.
It was hard.
So, Tony, I know you're very competitive, and this is way out in advance here, but you guys do the Miracle Bars. Are you going to up your game even? Because I know this is a big deal for you to be the biggest and the best in terms of the decor. Are you going to up the ante again this year in 2020?
I have no option.
I got to make it down there sometime during the holiday season.
You got to come for the holidays. Nothing to see the insanity that is Miracle Bar. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the one around here in St. Louis is pretty cool, but I think you guys got to outdo that because I know Tony's so competitive and likes to.
Keeps adding lights every year, adding lights. He's like Griswold over here.
Yeah, I'm about to put a new sub panel just to get more lights.
That's new news to me.
You guys have to have a family meeting after this,
right?
Right.
Whatever makes the people happy.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much. It was great stuff. Appreciate it. Look forward to you guys getting these bottles and tasting what they've got going on there. So, and we look forward to doing some more of these. As more barrel picks come in, we'll do some more.
Sounds
Well,
great. Wait,
Thank you all.
we appreciate you guys.